At 5:30, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Elko County School District Board of Trustees to order. Item 1.01, the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you all please join me? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Item 1.02, order and approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries. Okay, item 1.03, introduction of Elko County School District Student Board Member Justine McDermott, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Justine.
No, you're good.
Okay. Hi, I'm a senior at Spring Creek High School. I have a 4.9 weighted GPA, and I'm in soccer and National Honor Society. So my accomplishments are I'm on 3 academic all-state teams through soccer, and I was also named honorable mention to the All-East defense team for soccer and Student Athlete of the Month this year. My future plans is to attend Idaho State University and major in accounting. So, hi, thanks for having me here.
That is awesome, thank you. We're looking forward to any comment you want to provide, and if you want to weigh in on any of these, and also we'll have a spot later on where we do items for board members, and we'd love to hear about something going on in your school. Let's everybody give a big hand. Thank you. All right, moving on, item 1.04, recognition of Nevada State 6th grade 2025 Scholastic Challenge winner, Cash Harris. Cash.
I'm Mrs. McDermott's principal, and I'm going to introduce Dr. Price, our counselor, who heads up this competition. You ready for those? Ready.
The American Scholastic Achievement League has sponsored the Scholastic Challenge for 6th and 8th grade students in the United States for the last 30 years. Due to budget constraints, 2025 was the last year for the National Scholastic Challenge. Approximately 3,500 very knowledgeable 6th grade students competed in the final contest. Each school can sponsor a team of 30 students who individually answer 100 multiple choice questions on the computer in 1 hour. The questions are divided into 6 categories of general knowledge, language, literature, social studies, science, and mathematics. Questions vary each year, so there is no study guide that can be used. The national average for 2025 was 51%. 12 students on the Spring Creek Middle School 6th grade team scored at or above that average. The national winner scored a 90%, and the top scoring student in the state of Nevada is Cash Harris with a total score of 74%. We would like to recognize Cash as the final school and state winner of Nevada for the Scholastic Challenge. Those were Sunday last year.
Yeah, we'd all love to shake your hand too, Cash.
Yeah, go ahead. Will you just go ahead and start with the student member?
Congrats, man. Good job.
Good job. Thank you.
Well done, Cash. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 1.05, presentation from Spring Creek Middle School on community service projects.
Thank you. Good evening. SCMS established 4 areas that we want our students to excel in addition to their studies. And those areas are character, scholarship, leadership, and service. So for our presentation tonight, we chose to focus on service and our community service contributions. So we define service here as voluntarily contributing to our school and community. We look out for others, we find ways to support others, while willing to help and show compassion. And so these SCMS students are going to share a few of the projects that we're proud to be a part of.
Hello, I'm Daisy Wand.
I'm currently an 8th grader here in leadership at SCMS. I'm here to talk to you guys about the canned food drive we held at our school. Students would go around after advisory classes and try to bring as many cans as they could to win a pizza party. Our goal this year was to get 1,000 cans. By our amazing school, we accomplished to get 1,800. All the cans that we got were donated to FISH, also known as Friends in Service Helping.
Good evening and thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Brooklyn Montgomery. I'm the NJHS president. Every year, NJHS participates in the local Festival of Trees. This past year, we donated 2 trees, which helped raise $280. The money was split up between several organizations, including the Communities in Schools, Elko Cancer Network, LASSO, and the local Murder and Missing Women Indigenous Women's Awareness Group.
Hi, good evening. My name is Shaylee Bailey, and I am the NJHS Vice President. Last year, NJHS planted and donated a tree at the marina, which was a really meaningful way for us to leave something lasting for our community. Next week, we'll be hosting our first Colors and Pennies for Cancer Week. We will be teaming up and competing with Adobe Middle School to raise money for the Huntsman Cancer Institute to support cancer research, treatment, and patient care. We're hoping to make this an annual event, and we are really excited to be a part of such an important cause.
Thank you again. We're excited. We're always excited to help in community service whenever there's a need.
Hello, my name is Brody McDermott, and I will be talking about the Christmas Giving Program. Over 20 years ago, Karen Ash, a previous counselor, started this Christmas Giving Program. This program was one that she hoped Spring Creek Middle School would always carry on as a tradition of generosity of the school. The program is intended to provide needed items to some of the students who might be lacking during the holiday season. Clothing items are provided and have expanded from a coat, shoes, boots, pants, and shirt, and other clothing essentials. This year, special gift items have included books, games, toys, bikes, skateboards, and an exercise cycle. The family receives all the trimming for the wonderful Christmas feast, and in case of the 4-H local 4-H club, gift cards and additional food items are also donated. Many staff, students, and community businesses have helped keep this program afloat for many years. The Christmas Giving Program has been a tradition at the Spring Creek Middle School, and we are proud to announce that this Christmas we have helped over 300 students and their families.
Hello, I am Ariana Jorgensen, and I have a short passage about the DAV and Veterans Day. In 2024, we raised around $540 from the disabled American veterans. 2025, we raised $525 for the DAV. These donations come from staff, parents, and our 8th grade class. Our 8th grade class gets around $100 because of our student activity and leadership at their first dance of the year. The DAV sent us flags to honor many veterans that fought and served. We planted these on our school lawn for Veterans Day. All donations we raise are critical funds to support DAV's life-changing services for veterans in need. Thank you.
Hello, Elko County School Board. My name is Isabel Palazzolo. I am the 7th and 8th grade student body president. In FBLA and HOSA, we value community. These groups of kids are learning to be the leaders in the communities you know and love, growing to be valued individuals who can deal with even the toughest of patients and navigate the challenges of running a successful business in corporate America. But that is for the future. So let's turn back to what's been happening in Spring Creek these past few months. For example, SCMS and SCHS have both donated trees to the Elko County Festival of Trees, a charity which goes to many different causes alike. And along with that, the HOSA and FBLA communities participated each year in the March for Dance Walkathon, a fundraiser which all the proceeds go to improving the living conditions and overall health of new mothers and their babies. With all of this, there is one more that I must single out.
the Guatemala Project. It is designated to improve health and hygiene and living conditions to the under-resourced Guatemala communities. It focuses on public health, education, and providing essential resources for families and children in these communities. And lastly, while I was not personally given this topic, I was asked by one of our own school personnel to have an honorable mention of John Hopkins. Our SCMS building superintendent, also is a veteran himself, each year takes time out of our day to pair with Miss Mo, our 8th grade American history teacher, to pound hundreds of holes in the school's lawn so students are able to plant flags, honor their families, and the men and women who have died in our community. Our Veterans Day celebration would truly not be the same without him. Thank you and good night.
Good evening. I'm Phoebe Klein, the Hope Squad president, here with some of my Hope Squad members. As I'm sure you know, Hope Squad is a group of people from every walk of life who help recognize the signs for suicide, mental health help, and any other kinds of help we can provide.
I'm Amelia, a Hope Squad member. This year, we have been supporting our community and school. A few things we have done so far this year is the Snowflake Festival Parade with Adobe Middle School Hope Squad. Random acts of kindness for our teachers and students. We have made gifts for the people at the manor and even made a tree for the Festival of Trees.
I'm Charlie Hansen, the secretary, and thanks to a generous donation from the state of Nevada, we now have the materials to create kindness kits for students struggling, or for new students who come to our community.
We would like to thank you for your continued support for our squad.
They did an amazing job. There's a lot of happening here at Spring Creek Middle School, but definitely community service is an area that we really contribute a lot to. So do you have any questions for them or anything?
No question, but thank you very much for all your service. You're doing good projects. Appreciate that.
Yes, agreed. Thank you.
Yeah, and shout out to their advisors too. They're here in the room, but they do a lot with these kids. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Good job.
Well done. Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 1.07, 1.06, recognition of STARS recipients.
That's me. All right, so for this meeting, we have 3 STARS recipients to acknowledge. I probably should have scanned the room to see if they were all here, but I spotted a couple, maybe the third one. Oh yeah, they're all here. Yep. Okay, so the first one I'd like to acknowledge, and they're all from the Spring Creek community this month, which is great. Wasn't like totally intended to be that way, but it worked out great that way. So the first one we'll talk about is, and normally we make you come up in front of everyone, but given the layout of the room, if you could just like briefly stand when I mention your name, and then I'll read about you, and then the board will want to shake your hands as we're done. So anyway, first one, suspense is killing everyone. I know I've said it 3 times, is Holly Whittle. If you could stand up and have everyone see you. Hi, Holly. Hello. So Holly is the art teacher at Liberty Peak Elementary, and I've never done this before, but I put Holly's nomination into AI to summarize it for me, because Holly's nomination was like 3 pages long, and it was also unique in the sense that I've never had a petition for a STARS award before. 30 something people, I can't remember the number, 32 or 34 or something like that, different people, not just from Liberty Peak, but folks from Sage, folks from Spring Creek Elementary, people from the district, people from all around, all signed on to, say, yes, we agree with this stuff about Holly. So I'm not going to read 3 pages to you about Holly, and I'm sure she's grateful for that, because she didn't like it when I read it the first time. I'm sure she wouldn't like it the second time, as is typically the case with people who are as giving as Holly. So I will read a couple paragraphs about Holly, though. So Holly is a highly experienced educator. So she's currently in her 7th year as the art teacher at Liberty Peak Elementary. That is as long as Liberty Peak Elementary has existed. But prior to that, she also brought another 17 years of experience as a teacher elsewhere, and 3.5 years as a youth services librarian. Holly is recognized for establishing a safe and inclusive learning environment, but Holly does something which is kind of fun, which does lend itself to an art class, but can also be done in any type of classroom, and that is having student portfolios that demonstrate their work. For a lot of people who know me, I'm not a huge fan of a one-size-fits-all way of measuring success and the way kids show mastery of their learning. And Holly is an excellent teacher who allows students to build portfolios. These are small children, right? So all of her kids build portfolios, and she tailors her lessons to accommodate all their various learning styles. Additionally, beyond her normal art curriculum, she integrates modern technology like DIR robotic training and organizes significant community initiatives, such as they did a fundraiser to raise money, and I think the number was in the neighborhood of $7,000 for Ukrainian refugees, which is amazing. Another example of community service and supporting others that we see in Spring Creek community, and also coordinating student art displays at the local Cowboy Poetry Festival and other art gallery opportunities. Holly's commitment to her profession is also evidenced by her active involvement in the school senate and the Nevada Association for the Education of Young Children and various other school communities at Liberty Peak. She is known to be a strong communicator with all her parents via Class Dojo, and frequently opens her classroom for other teachers in the school and around to come in for peer observation and to share her expertise and her instructional practices with her colleagues. Her dedication extends also to time she donates to spend preparing students for district art shows and encouraging participation in national events, such as her class was involved in the creation and of ornaments for the national that Christmas tree that came through, and Nevada provided for the USA this year. And I mentioned earlier that her nomination was signed off on by many people, including administrators, other teachers, and staff members. So Holly, I hope you're okay with me not reading the whole thing, and congratulations again, and why don't you come on up here. All right, thank you, Holly. As long as we're talking about art teachers, we'll talk about another art teacher, and that's Brooke Lowe. If you'll stand and be acknowledged. Hello, Brooke. Brooke is the art teacher at Spring Creek High School, and this person, a student, nominated Brooke. They did not share who they were, but said a brief but heartfelt nomination for Miss Lowe, and the student said, "I'd like to nominate Mrs. Lowe because she is an amazing teacher. She helps her students out a lot when they need help, even if she gives directions and has to repeat herself multiple times." Not that any teacher can empathize with that in a classroom. She is nice even if you make her mad, and she will help you no matter what if you need the help. I appreciate everything that she's done for me and other kids in her class. And that was what the student said. And I'll also add that I know recently, not just recently, but throughout the years, I've been able to come to neat things that happened in Miss Lowe's class. And very recently, I went to, and Susan went to, and I think she mentioned at a board meeting, remind me, is it the the Scroll-a-thon? So this is another national, basically, piece of artwork or an art gallery event that is taking place. And so these two very animated and fun gentlemen they're traveling the country and basically building this collective piece of art that from all of the states and all over our country. And it's going to be displayed this summer in Washington, D.C., and part of an even broader project, not just about these little scrolls that we make. But anyway, it was really great. I love when, just as Holly encourages her kids to participate in national and local competitions and things like that, Brooke provided this opportunity for her students to participate in something much bigger than them and something at a national level. So Congratulations, Brooke, and thank you again. Read it. Okay, so the last one is a teacher from here at Spring Creek Middle School. It is Mrs. Peterson, who is right there. Hello, Amy. This wonderful young person is Noah Rowland, and Noah is the one who submitted this nomination about her teacher from last year. Yep, Mrs. Peterson, and who had such an amazing impact that even, you know, a semester or so later, she wanted to write this nomination. And Noah is a very brave and expressive person, and Noah would love to read the nomination that she wrote about Mrs. Peterson.
I've known Mrs. Peterson for about a year and a half. Last year, she gave everyone kindness and she taught me many things I thought I wouldn't be able to learn. She gave everyone support even when something silly happened in class. She made sure we were okay and that we were her priority. I personally loved doing projects in her class. They were fun, interactive, and actually helped me learn the material. Mrs. Peterson made me feel loved and gave me a safe environment where I could tell her anything that was making me upset, happy, or scared. That is why I nominate Mrs. Peterson as Teacher of the Month for January 2026.
I can't, yeah, I have nothing better to add than what Noah said. So I'm gonna, yeah, Amy, why don't you coming up and shake some hands. Congratulations again. Amy's class is always so fun to visit. As a lot of you know, I like to go around the district and visit a lot of classrooms. And Mrs. McDermott has always, you know, I get to visit lots of rooms, but she always makes sure to bring me by Mrs. Peterson's because there's always good stuff happening in there. So thank you again for being a great teacher. Thank you to all three of you. And as a reminder for anyone in the room, STARS awards only happen from nominations that we get from people in the community. So whether it's parents or kids or colleagues, which we got a little bit of a mixture of here today. That's how we get those nominations. So there's an easy to interface with part on our website that if we just look, where is it under community? Is that the time? Okay, thank you. Under both community and employees on our website, you can find a link to fill out a STARS nomination form, and it's super easy, isn't it, Noah? Yeah, Noah's done it twice. She actually nominated another teacher last year, I think. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to plug that one more time. And I don't have the paper here, but STARS is also only made possible by generous donations from some of our community and business partners. So since I don't have the list, I'm not going to try to go off of memory because then I'll forget somebody and then I'll feel really bad. But thank you so much to all of our community partners who help to acknowledge our teachers who deserve every little bit of acknowledgement for all the good they do in our schools and for our students.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Anderson. Now moving on to 1.07. Receive a CTE update from Heather Steele, Elko County School District CTE Facilitator.
DJ, do you want to start the clock?
5 to 10 minutes, go.
5 to 10 minutes, go. I'm Heather Steele, I'm a CTE facilitator for Elko County School District. Oh, there we go. For Elko County School District, I'm here because it is CTE month. February proclamation from both our governor and the president to celebrate all of the achievements of CTE in our nation and of course in our district. First, I want to start with CTE month is all about celebrating. I'm here to also celebrate the students, the staff, and the families who support CTE, but also the people in this room because there's been a cultural shift in recognizing the CTE and the importance of it in Elko County School District, and that is part because our board is 100% supportive of it, and I want you guys to know I appreciate that. CJ and his staff as well. This is our why. I show this slide every year to show the difference between the blue bars are students who have completed a CTE pathway in our district and their graduation rate. Nevada report card does a thing on us. They won't report any number over 95%, so I cannot give you that. But for the last 2 years, students who have had CTE in their pathways as they graduate at higher than a 95%. The orange bar are students who have not been touched by CTE in the district.
If I can interject too, I just read something from the state superintendent recently where he said throughout the state, it's the similar trend. It's about between a 95 to a 98% graduation rate for students who complete a CTE pathway. It's pretty much directly correlated with student graduations and success.
Quick question. I have a question. What is CTE?
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna give it back to Heather.
Yeah,
She'll take
yeah, thanks for that. CTE stands for Career and Technical Education. So any of the pathways in our middle and high schools that prepare students with technical skills to enter workforce. So it can range anywhere from agriculture to welding to business, teaching and training. I have a slide that shows all the programs here in just a second. We continue to grow in students earning industry recognized credentials. For last year, we saw a little bit of a drop. Part of that is due to the state recalculating numbers on us, but this is a big part of students entering the workforce and having those credentials to directly enter the workforce. So that can be OSHA, those are fire science certificates, automotive, our Ford training facilities and things like that. We'll go into the work-based learning. Again, this is another place where Elko County School District supports CTE and what we do. This is one of our self-reported indicators or our ACing accountability standards. We continue to grow. We're growing in a different way now. We're moving. You're seeing our experiences grow from just work-based, just like guest speakers and industry-related and industry tours into the orange bar, which is job shadowing, internships, and things like that. So we're seeing an incline in the number of students participating in that. Go ahead, Charles. We have worked tirelessly for the last few years, thanks to our middle schools, both Spring Creek and Adobe, on increasing our middle school enrollment, allowing students to explore careers earlier in their career. As of right now, we have 678 students enrolled. We have 580 students enrolled, but we have 678 enrollments in CTE programs across the district in the middle school. That is broken down, the number of students based in each one of those pathways. I'll talk a little bit later about how we're going to continue to grow middle school pathways. This slide is hard for you guys to see. These are, this is the breakdown of the enrollment in all the different pathways that we offer across the district in Elko County School District. Our top being agriculture welding, followed by family, consumer science, and then building trades and construction technology. That is a combination of all of our schools across the district. And that data point, there are 2,976 enrollments, but there is 1,952 students across the district enrolled in CTE, right? Duplicated, unduplicated. So 1,000 of those students are enrolled in more than one CTE pathway. Our enrollment trend continues to increase. It's slow increasing, but it is still increasing. So in all of the negative numbers we've been talking about, CTE enrollment continues to increase. Okay, so now I'll get into the meat of the presentation. CTE falls under Pillar 1 in our strategic plan, Students Prepared for the Future. There's lots of things to check off that box as we continue to build. This is the document that I navigate myself with. Those roles are expanding CTE pathways, collaborating with Mining School of Excellence, expanding dual credit offerings, and complete the Spring Creek Ag Lab construction and implement additional courses. So I'll talk a little bit about how we're continuing to expand pathways and offerings. This year, through competitive funds, we were able to work up towards a West Wendover shop remodel. Last year, I talked about that program went from 2 students to 60 students in a year. That needs some significant remodeling to be able to increase that kind of student capacity. So we received competitive funds to do that. We're working on that this year. Elko High School added a pathway in energy technology. We paid for that start of that program through CTE allocated in our Perkins federal funds. Spring Creek High School Fire Science, we use competitive funds for that. That program would not be possible without our friends at the Elko County Fire Protection District because we can't teach it, they have to. Those students going through that program will now come out certified in 9 different fire science credentials, prepared to enter as firefighter 1 in wildland, but they're also EMR, stop the bleed, CPR, and we're hoping our level 2s will actually be EMT certified by the end of this spring. And then the middle school framework project we're still working on. That's a collaboration between us, Clark Lane, and Carson City. We're actually piloting some of that new framework in our middle schools now. We just met with the state last week. We will roll that framework out for student enrollment in fall of 27. Okay, quickly, I'll touch base on some critical collaborations and how CTE has grabbed a hold of the profile of a learner and now using it for leverage to get what I want. Am I allowed to say that? Exactly right. So CTE, one of our big points is making sure that students in special populations are participating in CTE at the same rate that they're enrolled in our high schools. We've always had a little bit of a gap there. I've been working with Leanne Hill, and we've actually developed an action plan with CTE for how we're going to increase the enrollment of students in special populations in our CTE pathways. And one of the ways we're going to do that, I'm really excited about this project. We are taking CTE instructors, pairing them with a SPED teacher, a special ed teacher at their site, and with our technology director, Sarah Jolly, and we're actually going to use AI to decide, help us understand how to implement accommodations for students in special populations in CTE. And we will have teams of teachers at every school site, high school and middle school sites, working on that project, applying those accommodations in real time to test and see how it works. Hoping to take that project and then roll it out to math and English and social studies and science so that all students, we can use AI tools to improve our instructional practices. Well, can you go back, please, Charles? Thanks. The 8th grade science project is a long love of mine in seeing core and CTE come together in making core classes relevant for students, but also exposing them to many careers. So through work between NNRPDP, our mining partners, the Nevada Mining Association, CTE, and now Education Associates, which is a curriculum developer, we are working on embedding CTE into 8th grade earth science with a team of teachers and our mining partners. And what we're hoping to roll out is a statewide framework for every student in 8th grade earth science to be exposed to mining across the state of Nevada. That work will be done at ECSD and then rolled out to the rest of the state. Pretty cool stuff. And then reimagining parent-teacher conferences makes it cool because we're standing on one of the sites of a pilot project between Spring Creek Middle and Spring Creek High. The importance of recruitment and retention of CTE, increasing family engagement across our school sites. We are going to, in March, have a Spring Creek High School Success Summit where we're going to invite middle school families and students to come check out Spring Creek High. We're going to have a resource fair available. As of today, I have 6 or 7 community partners that are coming to help families understand the resources available to them. And then, of course, we'll have programs open with student-driven activities for them to be able to experience pathways and opportunities for them available in high school. So it's going to be, and then Jackpot is getting on board with the same thing. The purpose is to engage our families at a time when families are already engaging with our schools, because they're already planning on being engaged during parent-teacher conferences. So it's exciting work. Jackpot's going to look a lot different than Spring Creek, but it's going to serve their community in the way that it needs to for them. For the improving dual credit or increasing dual credit enrollment, with CTE funds received, well, like $160,000 to develop dual credit academy pathways. The plan of the Academy Pathways project is to give students exactly the classes that they can take in post-secondary while they're still enrolled in their CTE pathways. Can you go back for just a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. So you'll see that the courses are laid out fall, spring, while they're juniors and seniors in high school, to increase the ability for them to shorten their time in school on both ends, which is what students want to do now. You'll see a lot more of this rolling out as we work towards a marketing plan with some of those funds to make parents aware that these opportunities are available to students in pathways. It's not just English and history. Okay, Charles, go ahead. And then, can you click on that link for me? We got to actually check something off of the strategic plan this year. It's a safe link, I promise. Which never actually really happened.
Give me a second. I wasn't quite ready for that one.
Okay.
More than 1 second.
Anyway, many of you are familiar with the fact that we actually checked this box off. The lab is done and operational, and kids are doing all kinds of really cool learning inside that building. It is a buzz of activity from 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night right now, as students are preparing for their regional competitions, regional and state competitions in all of our current technical student organizations. The article that's going to pop up when Charles gets to click on the link is actually an article out of the National FFA magazine. So we made national news. There it is. So that is was published this month in the New Horizons magazine. That is a national news source. If you're an FFA family member, you received the actual printed article. This is the online article. It was well written. They had great pictures of that, but it was cool to see us in a national publication. And then with that, I'll let you ask any questions, although I did bring some more numbers because I forgot the most important slide, which tells you how much money we brought in or utilized this year. Our FY26 funds, we received about $673,000 to try to pull all of this off, which sounds like a lot of money until you divide it by 3,000 kids. And then FY25, our federal dollars now roll over multiple years, so we're able to kind of utilize things and go back and kind of think. So we had about $140,000 left in FY25 money that we're still working on spending. At this point, we've spent about 527,000 of that 819,000. The majority of what's left will go towards student travel for current technical student organizations so they can go compete.
More than 10.
And if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to entertain them.
I'm curious about the ag lab here. You say it's busy 6 in the morning to 10 at night. Can you give us just a quick overview of what's going on there? Maybe how many students that's actually influencing?
I would invite you to come by and kind of see there's a ton of stuff going on. So right now, the majority of the after school hours are being utilized for practice for them to prepare for state. So meets practice is going on. What else are they doing? Floriculture practice. They're preparing for their state contests before and after school hours. We have every class is full every period of the day in there. So we have ag science, food science, animal science, plant science, and some biology classes happening there.
Awesome.
300-ish in Spring Creek High. Well, nope. 400-ish at Spring Creek High in the ag program. Between that and ag mechanics, which is not utilizing the building, but they're still utilizing the building for FFA.
Cool. That's awesome.
Heather, when we opened the building, Dr. Quickachea from the Department of Agriculture was here, and he was talking about Nevada being able to inspect our agricultural products. He indicated Spring Creek High School's lab wouldn't be quite ready to do that yet, but indicated that the Wells lab may be further along in that process. Do we have a timeline as to when that may happen?
We do not. We're there. I think the state's still we haven't. So there's such a huge gap between what happens in an industry level facility and what happens in an educational facility. We do know that it's going to be way easier for us to actually be able to do that now that Nevada can do their own thing. We don't have to be specifically USDA certified. We will have the opportunity to do that, but we have not engaged in those conversations quite yet.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't have a question, but thank you. And thank you for all the work you've done to provide such great opportunity for our students. Thanks.
So I guess you're saying the same thing because we have long conversations on CTE. So, and I should probably just do the tagline of CTE is the future.
Yeah, I've been in CTEs all 4 years, and it really is a great program for all the students there. We appreciate it.
What do you think of the new lab there?
I love it. I have one class in it right now, but just seeing all the kids, like there's always people coming in for FFA and asking questions, and I've gotten to watch them in the meat lab, and it's really cool. So it's great.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mrs. Gill. Thank you. All right, moving on, we got item 1.08, input from the public. This is a period devoted to comments by the general public, if any. In the interest of privacy and due process, the public is requested not to raise personnel issues except in a legally noticed closed personnel session of the board. Comments are limited to 3 consecutive minutes. The speaker's time may not be reserved, divided, apportioned, or deferred. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda until the matter itself has been included specifically on an agenda as an item upon which action will be taken. I have 4 items up here for public comment. 2 of them are specifically on 4.04. So we'll go ahead and save those for that item. I do have one that I'm going to read in, and then I have Katie Moss. Is Katie Moss in? If you'd like to go ahead and make your comment, go ahead and step up here to the microphone. State your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Katie Moss. I'm a parent. I have a child in the middle school at Flagview. He's in the special education program with an IEP, and just recently we've been in IEP meetings, and I asked about what his education will look like next year with the fear of all the budget cuts and what the special education program is going to look like. I fear that, you know, with all these changes, I'm not sure how it's going to look and if I'm going to end up homeschooling or what. So I guess my question is are the funds going to be cut in the special education program? And if so, how? And when I do have future questions for the special education program, it says to speak to Director of Special Ed, Ken Higby, but I have heard that he is retired. So, and he's still listed as an employee on your website. And I'm just curious as to who I would direct my questions to.
You can go ahead and answer that.
We don't always respond to public comment right away, but
Okay.
these are pretty easy ones to answer. So
Okay.
Ray Smith has changed some job responsibilities, and he previously was the director over special services some years ago, and he's covering at least for the rest of this year in that role. So that's the person to contact, and you can always just contact our central office number and we'll direct you to the right people over at special services. And then as far as special ed funding goes, special education funding is very, just like we've had this conversation around the budget in different categories, but there are certain, the funds that we're worried about right now is what's going on with our general fund balance. And the general fund is the area of concern, and very specifically, only the general fund. Well, I shouldn't say only, but that's the one that's like giving us, help keeping me awake at night kind of thing. Now, there are other things that are protected and are categorical funds, and special education funds are categorical funds. They can only be spent on special education services, and the state funds us for special education on like a multi-year rolling average of how much we need to spend on it. So even though we're having issues with other areas of our funding, our special education funding will continue to come to us, and again, is protected, and the word that they use is restricted, only for special education usage. So the only way we would start to lose special education funding from the state is if we need to spend less on special education. And I would say just the way things are looking right now, that does not seem to be the case. The need is only increasing in our population for special education. The federal side of special education funding from IDEA, which is the Individual Disabilities and Education Act, that can fluctuate from year to year, or from biennium to biennium, depending on the national budget and what goes on there. But that only fluctuates a little bit, and once that is kind of disperses across thousands of districts all across the nation, doesn't typically have too much of a trickle down effect to us. So it could go up a little or down a little, but the state is the entity which provides most of our special education funding. And so despite concerns about what's going to happen with X job or X school or whatever, because your child and anyone's child has an IEP, we are federally required to meet all the goals and aims and everything of that IEP, and we will continue to do that. And again, that funding is not impacted, or shouldn't be impacted, not directly anyway, by our funding challenges right now.
Okay, as a parent, I just was concerned because in my last IEP meeting, we asked what the special education was going to be looking like for next year for him, going from 5th to 6th, and how that was going to look, and just so we could prepare ourselves as parents and him as well. And the vice principal said, sorry, we don't know what our program's going to be looking like next year, and we don't know what that is going to look like. And so that gave me a lot of insecurity as to what's going to be happening, just in the programs and what you guys do with the kids, and how that looks, because you don't have teachers or whatever it is.
Sure. I thank you for coming here and asking the question.
And I just wanted to show you my insecurity as to why I'm nervous about all of it.
I really appreciate you asking. I would encourage all people, including our vice principals and teachers and anyone who's not 100% sure on how these things work, to ask questions before delivering responses, or before posting something on Facebook, or before shooting an email to other people. Like, it's really important to be well informed. And so I love that you came here to ask that question, and I hope I put your mind a little at ease with that. But like, I understand there's still uncertainty, but as far as special education funding goes, that will not be impacted.
Not an issue. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Katie, for your comments. Is there any further comment from the public before I go to reading this one in? All right, hearing none, I have a letter from Catherine Kelly. It says, "Dear board members and the community, my name is Catherine Kelly. I'm part of this community as a teacher, parent, and a small business owner. I would like to begin by thanking the board and the district leadership for your continued hard work, particularly during the time that requires thoughtful decision-making and clear communication. The improvements to the district website and the consistent sharing of detailed information have been greatly appreciated by families and staff. I would also like to extend sincere thanks to the Budget Committee for their continued work in planning for the upcoming school year. The financial challenges facing schools are part of a larger national issue, and I appreciate the care, collaboration, and creative problem solving being used to find solutions that keep students at the center of decision-making. Congratulations as well to the 2025 Scholastic Challenge winner, Cash Harris. I had the privilege of having Cash as a student, and he's a wonderful young person. It is always meaningful to see students from our district recognized for their achievements. As a parent, I would also like to share that I have a middle school student who is excited about career and technical education opportunities. I participated in a similar program for teaching in high school, and it cemented my career choice. It is encouraging to see these programs grow and I hope we can secure funding for this program to remain. Finally, thank you for the recent article highlighting my award. I'm honored to represent the great work happening here and to help shine a light on our schools and our state, especially beyond the larger cities of Vegas and Reno. We are so much more than a gas stop on the way to other places, and I'm proud to call Elko County my home. Thank you for your time, Catherine Kelly. All right, that concludes public comment. We're moving on to item 2, consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion passes.
Sorry, I couldn't get my speaker on quick enough.
Thank you, Brooke. Gotcha. Item 3.01, approval of accounts payable.
Motion to approve the accounts payable 2/3/26.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion or disclosure?
I will disclose that I have a family member who works for Wellsboro Electric, but I will not be abstaining.
I will make the same disclosure. I have a family member who works for Wellsboro Electric, but won't be abstaining from voting.
And I'll just make a disclosure that the reading council is getting some funding and I am part of the reading council, but.
All right, thank you. And that's on our first item there. All right, now we can go ahead and vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion passes. We have one other item.
Move to approve accounts payable 2.03.2026 Lone Wolf.
Second.
All right, any discussion or disclosures?
To disclose that I work for Lone Wolf, I now will be abstaining from voting.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion passes. All right, moving on to 4.01, receipt, review, and possible approval of proposed revisions to policy BC/BCA, board organization/board organizational meeting for possible action.
Okay, so this was at our last board meeting for first read. Appreciate the feedback that was given by the board. A couple additional edits were made at that time, or based on the comments that were made at that time. So that is what is reflected before you now. So if you have any additional questions, I'll talk about it, but that's about it for me.
Chair, move to approve the proposed revisions to policy BC/BCA board organization meeting.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries. Item 4.02, receipt, review, and possible approval of proposed revisions to policy BDDD, board meeting procedures, and deletion of policy BDDD, conduct of board meetings for possible action.
Okay, that's me again. You will see a couple of additional red lines there, and that is due to you also, again, last time you gave some suggestions and we thought we got them all in there until late notice. It was like, oh no, we forgot this this additional element for BDD. So we made sure to get that in there, and because we did want to incorporate that. So the BDD, is it clean four or red line 4, however you want to look at it, is the one that I think is most important. But for the sake of transparency, I wanted to make sure we kept 3 in there, even though we further updated it.
Mr. Chair, move to approve proposed revisions to policy BDD as identified in the 4th designation of that policy, board meeting procedures, and to delete policy BDDD, conduct of board meetings.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All right, any further discussion?
I just had a question on 3 under board member voting. It specifies individual votes on motions and or resolutions will be ayes or nays, and then it goes on from there. There may be a time, and I don't know if we need to specify this in the policy, as it is probably covered under Robert's Rules of Order newly revised, that a hand vote or a counting vote may need to be taken. I don't know if we need to specify that in there or not. Because occasionally there's a vote that's really close, and in order for Hillary to get that, we need to say, okay, let's show by raised hands, or let's go down the table. I don't know if we need to specify that or if that's covered sufficiently in Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised.
My suggestion for that is that if that is our custom of doing such a thing, then the newly added area that says unless superseded by established board custom could probably cover that as an additional thing we do.
Any?
Can I call for the question?
Any further discussion? But no, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any? Chair votes aye. Motion carries. All right, moving on to 4.03, receipt, review, and possible approval of proposed policy GBC 20, incentives and additional compensation, all employees for possible action.
Okay, same idea. We had this last meeting. There were some suggestions that were given mostly on an individual basis to me based off of questions or confusions. And so we tried to reflect those in this newest red line. That's it.
Chair, move to approve the proposed policy GBC 20, incentives and additional compensation to all employees.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Moving on, 4.04, receipt, review, and possible approval of requests for purchase of retirement service credit or possible action.
Yes, so this is an annual, or there's always the possibility of this being an annual agenda item around this time of year. I think this is for all of you. Well, not all of you. Teresa's done this many more times than the rest, but for the rest of you, around the 4th or 5th time you've seen this, so you're familiar with buyouts. On the agenda attached is a spreadsheet for the individuals who are requesting some form of purchase of retirement or service credit towards retirement, and then also our policy GBC 19, which supports our policy basis for doing this. It's also found within our master agreements, and I know you've all had a chance to review the specific details of each scenario. We have Mr. Krenke here, and I can help to answer any questions if you have them, including any hypotheticals you might have, and be happy to answer your questions to help you with your decision.
Okay. Would the board prefer to have some discussion, or would you like to hear I have 2 public comments on this item. Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and call the public comment. Let's start with Gretchen Lutz, please. You come up here, state your name for the record. Same rules apply. You have 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes.
My name is Gretchen Lutz. It has been an honor to spend my career serving the Elko County School District and its students. Over the past 26 years, I have had the privilege of working alongside exceptional colleagues, supporting countless students, and contributing to the academic and personal growth of our school community. I am proud of the work I have done, and I'm deeply grateful for the opportunities and support the district has provided me throughout my career. At this stage in my professional life, I believe a buyout would be mutually beneficial. It would allow me to conclude my service on a positive and respectful note, while also providing the district with increased flexibility in staffing, budgeting, and long-term planning. I appreciate the board's time, consideration, and ongoing commitment to both educators and students. Thank you for the opportunity to serve this district for the past 26 years.
Thank you. All right, we have Paul, is it McEnany?
McEnany.
McEnany? I apologize. Mr. Paul McEnany.
Thank you. My name is Paul McEnany. I've been working for the district since the 90s in many different roles, from special ed teacher to elementary to principals at several different schools. Again, like what Gretchen said, it's been an honor. This is the only place I ever worked as a teacher. I came back from Reno to student teach here, grew up here. My kids were educated here. My wife was educated here. We've all been educated here. I love Elko County School District. But when it's time, it's time. And that's why I put in, right? It's not an easy decision for me to put in for a retirement or the buyout. But I think it's time to pass the torch to a new generation, younger kids, to come and take over, get some of us high-paying teachers off the books, and start hiring the young teachers, the new generation to come in and help out. Again, I've loved working here. I've worked at many different sites through my years here in the county. And I just like to thank the board for all they do. I've been to many board meetings. First time I ever talked as a public member. I've done presentations for schools or whatever before, but it's the first time as a public member. And I appreciate the work you do. I know it's a hard decision with the financial the financial struggles we're in right now. But I think it's always smart to get the higher paid teachers off and start letting new teachers come in. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that concludes the public comment I have for that item. What's the will of the board?
I have a question of where would this money come from? If we're trying to work on our budget, where do we come up with this money?
The funds for, if approved, the funds for this would come from our general fund.
And are these already in the current budget? I know that it's in the past, we've had a budgeted amount for buyouts. Is this part of the current budget?
I would not classify any of this as currently budgeted for, especially in light of back in December, leading into December, when we became more aware of the financial situation. Many of our funds were swept is probably if it's the right word, but that's the word I'm going to use. We had to kind of pull money from other funds in order to make sure we were able to feel good about getting through the year and taking care of payroll and such things. So we do, yeah, just that's the answer. We do not have this specifically budgeted for right now.
I know that we'll hear sorry if I may.
No.
Mr. Chair. I know that we'll hear more presentation in a couple of weeks. Is it anticipated that all 5 of these positions will be replaced?
That's a question I can't comfortably or confidently answer. It is conceivable that among the recommendations that we make, there will be several that have to do with attrition. And so attrition, you only know what attrition is based off of who is not going to be there anymore. And so if these folks are here next year, then obviously they don't fit under the category of attrition, whereas if they are gone, then they would. And then the question then becomes, if we are going by attrition, and then you get into what the contracts kind of delineate of how you decide who moves into what, if you're in a hiring freeze, which is also a realistic action to be taking during our situation. And so I get your question, but there's no way I can definitively answer that these 4 or this 1 will or won't be replaced, because that depends on which one is vacated. They all perform different functions in our district. And so some are by necessity would have to be replaced, and others could potentially just be a transfer over from someone else. So I think I'm really sorry if that was confusing and vague and it sounded like a cop out, but that is the reality of the situation. Is I can't tell you an answer for sure.
So the total outlay would be 342,331.
Yes.
And where, that would come out of the general fund at what time? Would it be in this budget year?
Yes, it would have to come out of this budget year.
Would it be safe to say that we don't have that money right now? Where we're canceling other stuff that.
It would be safe to say, and this is an important distinction. Just trying to answer your question straight up. Because this information has been pushed out about the state of the district. It would be safe to say that if we did nothing else, like if we did nothing from where we were in December, which is not the case, we've already done some things, and we'll continue to do others. If we had done nothing, this would be another $342,331 on top of what we were concerned about. We're not doing nothing. So the most honest answer is that this would just, I hate to say it this way, just to slow down our efforts by $342,000. But I'm not comfortable saying that it's going to make us be negative in July, because I don't think or know that to be true at this point.
But then in that case, anything under 4% though puts us in a situation with the state where we're needing.
No matter what, we'll be in corrective action. Yeah. And
so 0 is
needing
0, 4% is 0.
Yeah. Well, 4% is the trigger for corrective action. 0 is, in my estimation, much more problematic than corrective action. 0 means we can't make payroll, and that's a whole different problem. This isn't going to make it one way or the other. It would just be another dent in what we're trying to do, or what we have to do. I shouldn't say trying to do, what we have to do.
And so the estimated savings column, that's in pink.
Yep.
So in the end, I just want to make sure I get this right, because every year I ask the same question. So I see the total cost to purchase that Jeff just talked about. The estimated savings up to 2 years is 56,000 roughly.
Yes, and that's assuming replacement of those positions.
That's not much of a savings.
No, which goes back to Matt's question: are you going to replace them? Right? Because if you don't replace them, obviously the savings is
560,000
is significantly more. But we
for all 5.
Yeah.
That's to be very clear on that. Roughly.
I feel like the more questions we ask, the even harder it gets. It's crazy sauce. So. This is a great tool. I just want to and nobody's saying anything. I'm gonna chime in. This is a great tool, and that we worked with the staff to try and to help out. We in the past we've done it, and it's if people have been following me, it's no surprise that I'm been against using these funds in this manner. And again, it's not for any one person sitting anywhere. It's for the fact of what are we doing, and we've just pushed and pushed and pushed, and now we're at this time when the district has made financial decisions that have started to impact programs in the district and impacting kids, and just don't. What I'm saying, I don't think that this is a smart decision at this point on any means, because we're running into that. At one point, sure, we had funds and we had the means to, but I just think at this point, all the rhetoric that we have of financials being dire, and then throwing at this. I understand. I appreciate everyone that's here that is, and even on this list, and those that are not, and those that will be, like the amount of time that they put in. But right now we're in the hard decision stuff. Just like we said last time, we got to start cutting things. I just don't think it's a smart decision to move forward on this. I mean, everyone's dancing around it and I get it, but, it's just at some point, you know, the ride's got to end. And right now we're at that point. Maybe in the future we can start looking at these again, but right now it just doesn't seem like it's a smart decision.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I also want to say thank you to the 5 educators that are on here. That's not to say I don't appreciate all of the educators, but I realize, so obviously we're in this situation that we're at. I'm anticipating that we will not be able to keep our staffing levels the way we are. How that impacts everyone, I have no idea. There is benefit to the employees here, and I recognize that, but I also see this almost as a throw myself on the sword to allow the district to save money. I get completely that there is a personal benefit there. Yes, that makes sense. I would rather see these 5 educators not employed next year through a purchase that we've given them and either not replace them or at the very least replace them with younger teachers or even teachers who are currently pursuing a certification than to have these 5 go on here. And next year, next school year, when I anticipate there to be cuts, we start looking through the hierarchy of the attrition and we get to the bottom of the totem pole. And in reality, those teachers or those employees who are trying to become teachers are going to be the ones that get cut, from what my understanding is based on what the collective bargaining is. So yeah, I don't want to spend $342,331. But if we can save $480,000 by eliminating 4 of these positions, I see that as the smarter move. Of course, I'm one of 7 and I can't say, great, we're eliminating 4 positions. And because I put my foot in my mouth all the time, for those of you out there in the social media universe, this is not saying Matt is in favor of cutting everybody. Nobody start worrying about your positions or schools or anything like that, please. But yes, I would rather see these positions open than to have them, no offense, take a position that could easily be used by somebody fresher and frankly cheaper. Mm-hmm. Again, I appreciate your diligence. Is not to say that we don't value you. It's just to say that's what I see as the numbers.
I'll also clarify it's not Matt's choice or any board member's choice.
Yes, thank you.
Who to hire, fire, let go, cut, etc. That's all a function of management. And unless anyone say Matt said he can do that, Matt knows he can't do that. None of the board members can.
It's too late. It's already a sound.
Right. It is out there. Once again, Matt's
if we've proven anything in the last couple of months, it's already a soundbite. So.
Well, Mr. Chair, this meeting is always difficult because I look around at the educators in the room and you guys have done amazing things for our district. And honestly, we're so grateful. You know, Mr. McInerney got pied in the face by one of my boys today as an award, you know, and he got, I think, what, 50 pies today, something like that. You know, because the kids love him, right? They just love having him there at the school.
Cleans up good.
And yeah.
Sit next to me. It stinks, right?
Just keeping his hair in place. But you know, we could look at all of you and say thank you for everything you have done. This is always hard because we look at numbers and you know, we're in a tough spot right now. However, the possibility of, you know, not replacing these positions is a reality, which would put us ahead to purchase these credits right now. Some of these positions may need to be replaced. We don't know. You know, I wish we had a crystal ball. If we had, we would have done some things different further back. would have changed the way the state funds education so that this would never be an issue for any school district in the state of Nevada, which it is for a good portion of the rurals right now. But I will say I tend to be in favor of this opportunity for these employees who have served us for all of these years. A lot of them come back and volunteer and help in the school and give up their time, even when they're not getting paid at some point later on, and still provide their expertise to, you know, new teachers coming in and to new individuals in the district. And I don't, you know, there's not really a price tag on that. Again, it's pretty hard to say, let's spend this money right now when everything is really tight, and it can set us back on some of the other, you know, recommendations that are kind of going to come to the board. But I will say I am in favor of these buyouts because, you know, you've just done so much for our district. And again, the possibility that on the financial side, we could end up saving money by doing this puts me, you know, slides me to that side of the favor at least.
Can I jump in?
Trustee Ballard.
I'll try not to cough. I normally am also in favor of buyouts, but I will say, just because of the state that our district finances are in right now, this year, I am not in favor of it. I know Matt was talking about how sometimes being able to buy out and have newer, fresher teachers come in. I think he was calling you guys old and crusty. Matt, that was not very nice. But I disagree. I can see some benefit also from keeping these teachers. I think there's a lot to be said for teachers who have experience and have been in the game for as long as these teachers have, and the things that they can still offer our students. One of my children right now is being educated this year by Lynn McCary, who was one of the teachers in our consent agenda that will be retiring, and she's a fabulous teacher. And so I do want to thank them for everything that they've done for the school district. But I don't believe, because we can't guarantee if we spend this money that those teachers won't be replaced. If I could say if we spent this money and these teachers wouldn't be replaced, and I had that guarantee that it would end up being a net savings for the district, my mind would maybe be changed on that. But because I can't say that these teachers will be or won't be replaced, I just don't think that it's in the best interest of the district right now to approve these buyouts.
Would the board like to proceed?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the request for purchase of retirement service credit.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the purchase of buyout credit. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Chair votes nay. That's, can we get a indicator going down? Raise your, all your ayes, please raise your hand. All right, nays have it. Well, motion fails. Would the board like to proceed?
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion that we do not approve the buyouts as stated.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes. All right, and I do want to say thank you to also, it's a very tough one, but where we're at financially, that's the way I had to go. Moving on.
also want to jump in and just say thank you. I know these teachers are going to do an amazing job for the next year or two that they still have left, and that our students will be blessed by having these teachers in their classrooms. And just want to thank them for their service and for everything that they've done for the children in our district.
All right, moving on to 4.05, receipt, review, and possible approval of grant of easement for Southwest Gas at Elko High School for possible action. Let's see, is that Mr. Saki?
Yeah, go for
Yeah.
Evening, Lori. Yeah, it's just that little kind of piece of property right by Elko High School, kind of across the street from the fairgrounds right there. So just to kind of clean it up with the city with their,
This is like Southwest Gas.
Oh,
for meters and stuff.
yes, sorry. Different easement. So we had a bunch of gas leaks, not a bunch, but we had some issues with some gas leaks at Elko High School. So we had to redo some easements to kind of move some gas lines around at Elko High School.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the grant of easement for Southwest Gas at Elko High School.
Second. We've got a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion passes. All right, moving on to 4.06, receipt, review, and possible approval of the vehicle and bus surplus sale for possible action.
So this is a kind of a recurring one as well. These are all vehicles that served us well, whether they're fleet or buses, but have put on a lot of miles, and we're looking to do a surplus sale of those. If you have any questions about specific vehicles, Seth might be able to tell you their life story, but I cannot. But this is we do this a couple times a year.
Come get your chance at a nice Ford Taurus.
Yep.
It's likely we're going to be able to sell each of these for $100 grand or more, right? This is our budget solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the vehicle and bus surplus sale.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion passes. All right, Mr. Stalky, back to you. 4.07 facilities and construction update. We'll get better and switch those around next time.
Well, good evening again. So we're still moving forward with our school safety projects. Right now, we're kind of wrapping up grammar cameras and the TCUs, and the next school we'll probably go to is Northside. Yeah, everything's kind of, it's been about a month to kind of complete a school. I think the contractor would kind of like to get into Elko High School because that's going to be quite a bit of work to get all that stuff done this summer, and then we'll kind of see where we kind of land up with the rest of the elementaries after that. Hawaii, this mild winter has been fantastic for construction, so it's moving forward really, really well. Structural steel's pretty much complete. Second floor concrete's just completed. They're framing exterior walls, and we'll get this closed in and start.
Latest pictures look great.
Yeah,
it's really coming along.
Yeah, it's moving really, really good. So yeah, we really haven't had any issues with anything, you know, kind of at the start there with, you know, the clay issue that we kind of ran into, but everything else is moving forward really smoothly. Completed projects, grammar number 2 office relocation, that's done. I don't think they're going to move in till maybe the summertime, just easier for the school and everything like that, but it's all complete and it turned out really, really well. I think quite a few of you guys have walked through that project and turned out well.
Wait, and sorry to interrupt, but is
No.
that, the boiler project also gonna be, coincide with them being able to move in and all that stuff?
Yeah, the
right for
boiler
next
project
year?
hopefully shouldn't impact any of them moving. I think it's just,
I'm talking about completion time. Is it also gonna be done for next,
yes.
for
Yeah,
next school
so
year for there?
right now with, I could skip ahead, I guess. The mechanical upgrade for grammar number 2 and the Elko High boiler, we have a notice to proceed basically right now. So contractors, I've kind of been working with them and, we're kind of trying to do a little bit of stuff, demo or whatever stuff we can possibly do to facilitate moving it forward, but yeah, they'll really start diving into it this summer, but yeah, they'll start this spring.
Matt, just to confirm, I apologize, for the rest of this academic year, the front office for grammar 2 will still be accessed through the playground.
That's
okay.
Yeah, I think that's just what the admin what they kind of wanted to see in place. It was a little bit easier, and except for kind of changing it up in the middle of the school year, it's up to them if what they kind of wanted to do, and that's what they kind of decided. So
thank you.
Carlin's playground turned out fantastic. Nevada Gold Mines was amazing to work on that, and I think hopefully we kind of have a plan now with they've kind of figured out some of those structures that we could probably do at a lot of the rural schools. I think would be fantastic is, they build up a set of playgrounds or set of swing sets and different things that they kind of put there that the C shop from Nevada Gold Mines built for us. And now that turned out really, really well. So hopefully in the future, we're kind of working with Nevada Gold Mines moving forward on that. So future projects, we're still working on, we only had limited funds. So mechanical upgrades that we picked and the Wells gym roof, we'll probably move forward with bidding that out this spring and moving forward with that on this summer. So I kind of pulled back the Jackpot High mechanical upgrade, and we'll kind of get those plans together, get some estimates, and come back to you guys this spring and see where we kind of land on that one. So,
Matt?
Yes.
I have a question about the Jackpot High mechanical upgrade. When I very first was put on the board and Stephen was in, they did a mechanical upgrade in Jackpot. Can you just remind me of what the history of that has all been?
Yes, so we did do kind of a heating upgrade on the elementary side because we have a VRF system that doesn't really work very well in this climate. So we had to provide electric heating coils to supplement the heating in the elementary school side. So that's what it was. The mechanical upgrade, or at least getting a mechanical upgrade, it would be for the high school, because they're two separate buildings.
Thank you.
Yep. And then, again, like I said, the Wells High gym roof will bid out this spring. So we'll see where our roofing guys are usually really close on the numbers. So we'll kind of, I'll keep you guys up to date on that. And then we lost both boilers at, you guys know this, at Flagview. So what had happened was, I think our boilers were around 92, 94 from what I could find in my records. We lost the heat exchanger on one, and then the other one was kind of just limping the school along, not keeping it really up to temperature, because there's an NRS on temperatures that we have to provide in each classroom. So we had a contractor out of Reno come out to kind of help us take a look at that. And when they opened up that other boiler, we realized that heat exchanger was cracked as well. So to move forward, we've got boilers that are 30 year plus that couldn't find parts for. It was easier, cheaper to find. We found two boilers that kind of fit our application there in Sparks at Western Nevada Supply. So we got those ordered, got them running, and then big thanks to Snyder Mechanical to they jumped right on board. They called that day and said, whatever you guys need from us, we're here to help. So they jumped on board with helping facilitate that replacement.
I gotta interrupt and say that was a great job. Just we lost one school day and was able to replace the entire boiler system and only lost one day. That's incredible. And
yeah,
good job.
I was trying to stay pretty calm, and I was hoping that we would get boilers in, and we wouldn't have to lose any more.
Well, the alternative would have been, if had we not found those parts and you guys moved as quickly as you did, we'd be looking at moving students, because that's just something that could have taken weeks.
We were looking at temporary like boilers that you could kind of tie into your system, and I mean the cost of that was anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 just to kind of get that equipment here, get it hooked up, and then whatever that would cost kind of moving forward, without replacing the boilers. And then another big thanks to my team, my electricians, my plumbers, they all jumped on board and were working over the weekend over there. So yeah, I hope County School District's employees really helped
Matt, sorry, it's hard to jump in over here, but was the boilers at Flagview something that was on your radar? And if so, like, how many other boilers are we looking at in the district that are that old and we should be maybe planning on or thinking about that in the next 5 years would need replaced?
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're going through all of them kind of with that contractor, or there's 2 contractors we're working with, but we're working with these contractors to kind of go through our entire systems. I want all our boilers rated, kind of see where we're at on our issues with them. Brooke, I would say half of our boilers are this old, and that's it. I think we knew we had an issue with one, and until we got a boiler tech in there to open up the other one to kind of see, we thought it was just something kind of simple that we could get going that night, and but no, it turned out to be catastrophic. So but no, I'm working on getting all our boilers rated, kind of coming up with a plan for all that stuff. But yeah, we have a lot of aging infrastructure, we all know that. So
hey, Matt, a question that I had for you during our super fun phone call when you let me know that this was happening, and something I heard from board members and even from some community members, is circles around the difference between a boiler failing and when we have a mechanical upgrade on the docket for our CI, for our capital improvement plan, or for something we're asking for permission to bid. Would you just, because a lot of times those things, like for example, if we go back to the grammar number 2 bid that was approved at our last meeting, that was for 3.2 million or something like that. It was very close to that. So would you, just like, you don't need to, you don't need to do a user manual on it, but like just a quick overview of what the difference is, why grammar number 2, which is getting mechanical upgrade that costs $3.2 million, when at Flagview, the boilers went out and we're talking about $80,000, because someone joked to me, let's just wait till the boilers give out and then we'll replace them over the weekend, and it's not $3 million.
I'd rather not.
And I know that person was saying that in jest, but like, if you don't truly understand the difference between what a mechanical upgrade is and what replacing the boilers is, just like a real quick.
Sure.
And you're the man at being quick with your words, so
yes,
I know you will.
Yes. So maybe a little background. Probably when I first got to the district, we just replaced boilers at Adobe Middle School. We probably had to go through, replace some pumps, codes change. You have to add different things, for a boiler room to be up to code. So that one was about $200 and something thousand. But you're thinking about, you're paying prevailing wage, the whole bid package. You've got, engineering going into that. This was just, we found boilers that were very similar, ripped them out, installed them, and we're still working on them. So we're still kind of going through. That's why I don't really have a hard cost for you guys yet. So, because we're updating gas valves, because that changes, and controls and all that sort of stuff. So the mechanical upgrade, let's say at Grammar, it's a big school. There's heat exchangers in a way, kind of like an old radiator system basically there. So, each classroom, you guys have been in there, you've seen the older radiators. So all that has to be replaced. All the piping has to, not all, but a good chunk of it has to be replaced. We have to build a room downstairs. It's just more complex than just changing out a boiler. A lot of our, Elko High School, for example, those old boilers, we're relocating them upstairs because that's saving us, over $100,000 just leaving those old boilers down there. So we've got, again, build a room, add additional piping, pumps, all that sort of stuff that kind of goes with that. That kind of helps. Okay.
Matt, what's the lifespan on the boilers we just put into 5G? I mean, are they new? Are we getting, are they used, that still in great condition? But what are we looking at lifespan wise?
So brand new, high efficiency boilers. And one good thing is, we were kind of having a tough time keeping temperatures and kind of certain areas, with a big loop, you're kind of draining heat as you kind of go down. And then when you get to the kind of some of the last classrooms, we weren't really keeping heat up in there. So these new boilers, I think they're trying to turn down heat a little bit over there. It's really efficient, it's turned out really, really well just for the school. Your typical boilers will, 15, I mean, now with electronics and everything, they're making everything smaller. It's like anything, nothing lasts forever, but yeah, probably, a good 15 to 30 years, depending on maintenance and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I've run into a little bit is we've kind of deferred maintenance for a while. So I'm getting that all back up on like a maintenance schedule. There's chemicals that you need to provide to the boiler system that we kind of were lacking for a while. So we're getting that all back up to speed this year.
Matt, going back up to the top of the list with the school safety project, are those funds secured, or are we still looking at?
We're still looking. Yes. Yeah, because we'd like to do, single point entry, digital entry, but we weren't successful on getting any grants for that one. So, but everybody's still working and trying to find more funding for all that stuff. And NGM's been great with us, working with us on that. So, we'll keep chipping away at it.
I apologize. I should have stayed on the boiler issue while we were there, but those funds, did that come out of the capital fund? Or is that under the general fund or something else? Were we able to use pay-go funds for those?
I'm pretty sure we are using pay-as-you-go funds. If not, it would probably come out of my budget, building the sites, but I think we're okay on using pay-as-you-go funds.
It wouldn't hit the general fund.
Great, thank you.
Anything further for Mr. Salke? Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Moving on to 5.01, Superintendent's Report. Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to Spring Creek Middle for hosting us today. And I just truly loved hearing all the ways your students are serving they're within their school and serving the community. I just kept thinking about our fourth competency in our newly established portrait of a learner, which is a trustworthy leader. And a lot of what goes into the trustworthy leader is the character, is the community involvement, the citizenship, the giving back, the being part of your community. And those are things that, we are going to be talking about. How do we weave those directly into curriculum? And so to a certain extent, that's happening in certain classes more than others. Obviously, a class that is, like a Hope Squad class is going to lend itself to doing things that are a little more overtly in that vein, but others a little tougher. And so, it's good to see kids in action doing their best to give back and positively impact their community. I love that you could tell they all at least tried to memorize what they were supposed to share with the board today, and kids did a great job and presented confidently, and well done on preparing them. And on that note of the Portrait of a Learner, just as a reminder, tomorrow and the next day, we are officially beginning the next phase, which is those learning progressions that that's back in November when the committee members came and presented to you and kind of said what the next steps was. There was like a big bridge with dwarves or something running across it, right? It was that slide. We are convening anywhere in the neighborhood of about 30 to 40 or so teachers from all across our district that will represent maybe I shouldn't, that will at least have the opportunity to represent every school, every grade level, every content area. And even when you start to get into like math, people with experience in every calculus and then algebra 1 and algebra 2, like really bringing people in from as many schools, areas, contents, etc., to start to talk about and for 2 full days flesh out how do we intentionally weave within our content, which is its own task to get through every day, to beat the state standards and prepare our kids for their assessments and everything we have to do as teachers already. But not make it an additional thing, but how do we weave these competencies of a capable communicator, a creative problem solver, responsible and engaged learner, and a trustworthy leader. So what does that look like in my 3rd grade classroom? How do I demonstrate that? And how do I help kids build those 4 competencies that we collectively as a community have decided are the highest priority of competencies for our kids to be able to succeed, regardless of what CTE pathway they go down or which college they want to go to or what career they want to have eventually. No matter where they go, they need to be those 4 things in order to truly be successful. So that work is going to officially start tomorrow and give you an update. It won't be done in 2 days, I'll tell you that. But we'll get a lot of the groundwork going, and we'll continue to update you on the progress of the Portrait of a Learner. Had an opportunity this last week to go visit another Elko Rotary Club and present about our Portrait of a Learner, and also answer some passionate questions about our budget situation, and make sure people know that we're taking things seriously. And what's important is when we have these board meetings or when I go places, a lot of people have singular focuses, like this is the thing I'm worried about. Like I'm worried about the budget, or I'm, what's happening with reading scores, or what's like, it's great that people are passionate about those things. We have to think about all the things all the time. And so just because we have budget problems with our general fund doesn't mean that we can just ignore boilers. It doesn't mean we have to abandon our strategic pillars that we all collectively established some years ago. It definitely doesn't mean we steer away from from the work we're doing to improve our test scores, right? We can't be prisoner of a moment and be tunnel vision on one thing, because while you're focused on that, there's so much happening elsewhere, and we are constantly focused on supporting our teachers, our administrators, our community organizations, and being part of all that all the time. And so it was a good meeting to go to with that Rotary Club and have those conversations. We're always, there's so much going on all the time, and we have to make sure we're doing our due diligence in all areas, and not just silo ourselves into whatever the hottest issue or problem is at the moment. And so thankfully we have a lot of people who carry on the good work regardless of what's going on. Also had a great meeting, and Jeff was able to join with, we had legislative liaisons from both Senator Rosen and Senator Cortez Masto's offices came and met with us. It was a great opportunity sitting in my office to talk with them about what our biggest challenges are in Elko County and what they can do at the federal level to support us. We talked very intently about E-rate and how essential that is for us to be able to provide even the most basic internet services to our schools everywhere. It always blows people's minds when I talk to them about Mound Valley and Ruby Valley and Independence Valley and Montello, And then just the challenges of even getting internet, quality internet out to Hawaii and how much that costs. And so it's great to show people the landscape, to talk to them about it and make sure they know the challenges that we face so they can advocate for us when those programs and E-rate as an example are up for potentially being reduced at the federal level, which is something that would directly impact all of our students in schools. We also talked to them about the safety upgrades we're trying to do at all our schools. Matt just mentioned we've gone out for multiple rounds of that funding, and while we've benefited a couple times, we're sort of kind of hitting the wall on the extent of what we can do with the funds we had, and we have so many more things we want to do to provide safe school environments for our students, but which I think are school standards elsewhere in the country and even within our own state if you go to some of the larger areas. And so we believe our kids deserve those same protections, and so we'll continue to do that. But a lot of times those things come to fruition because your senators advocate for you and your congressmen and women advocate for you, and so it's great to have some seat and face time with them. Our attendance review committee met for the first time last week and kind of got the ball rolling there, which was good. And they're going to continue to meet. They're very excited about their appointment, aren't they? Very, very excited. And then also was able to. Cody was there too. We went and celebrated the opening of the recreation center in Elko. Congratulations to the Boys and Girls Club. They're a great partner with our school district on many things and supplement a lot of services that our community needs. And so was able to go there and be present for that. Just want to mention a few things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks before our next board meeting. This week, starting yesterday, is National School Counseling Week, which focuses attention on the unique contribution of school counselors within our schools. So the theme is titled School Counselors Amplify Student Success. And it's just tremendous, the impact our school counselors can have in helping our students be successful. I often say nobody is just in anything, and it would be it's impossible to truly explain what a counselor does. They don't just do kids' schedules. They don't just help them when they're having a hard day. There's no just anything. School counselors are. I know when I was a site administrator, like a school counselor is part of your leadership team. They have a pulse on what's going on. They know what kids' needs are. They're connected with families. And a school counselor that's truly involved isn't just facilitating an easier day for kids. They're impacting lives. So want to shout that out and say thank you to all of our school counselors as that is being celebrated this week. Also, the 6th, February 6th is Crossing Guard Appreciation Day. We won't be in school to have crossing guards on February 6th, which is Friday, but we're still going to appreciate our crossing guards, even if that's how they're being appreciated. They don't have to go to crosswalks that day. We appreciate all they do to help keep our students safe. Exactly, right? And then just before we meet the next time, we will also be celebrating National School Resource Officer or SRO Appreciation Day. That is on February 15th. And I guess I was going to say, and that's it. From a budget standpoint, just a couple things to make sure everyone knows. Our budget committee, my budget subcommittee that I commissioned to help with some of the decision making and to get a variety of perspectives for some of the decisions and plans we're going to have for moving forward to help out our financial situation. They have finished their meetings, and right now Cassie and Cody and district staff are working on finalizing kind of what that report is, what the product of those meetings is to help in my decision making and our decision making. So between now and our next board meeting, I will make sure that report is in consumable fashion before our next board meeting. And I'll also, since December when we started talking about this a little more intently, we always had the last meeting in February as the target date for some plans for moving forward and for providing recommendations for what we'll do. And if any of those are recommendations that should have board action, we'll make sure that that's all, we're still on track for that for the February 17th meeting. So that is the plan for 2 weeks from today. Also, so the public is aware, even though we will go about the method that we normally do, the board workshop, we're going to have a board workshop about the budget. It will not be a workshop to make specific decisions about the budget. It is a budget workshop in general. But because we would want to have that budget workshop be very meaningful, we want the board to be able to ask questions about our current reality, right? And if it is just a closed workshop, then you wouldn't be allowed to do that. And it would not be a waste of a workshop, but it wouldn't be as readily applicable as we would want it to be. So that workshop that will precede our next board meeting, like a couple hours beforehand, will also be open to the public if anyone chooses to attend. And again, while we will not have any specific decisions made during that meeting, the meeting will be open to the public. And so both of those will be, both that meeting and our board meeting to follow will be agendized as open meetings, and encourage everyone to participate, to attend if you feel so inclined. And as always, provide public comment if you feel so inclined. And that is now it.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
That's a good question about the enrollment update.
Yes.
Could you just, so that the public knows, I think or it seems like there's a lot out there that, people are wanting to go to online school. So will you just briefly talk about, we have an online school, and I'm not sure how much of if the public is aware that we have our own online program.
Yeah, sure. So our online school is called NNVA, or the Northeastern Nevada Virtual Academy. I can never remember if it's Northeastern or just Northeast, but it's NNVA. And it is structured in such a way, it's a little different from what was going on during COVID, right? Because during COVID, we had some, depending on what grade level you were in, you had real teachers, you had to like face to face, I have to zoom in and talk to my teacher, and it felt a little bit like you were just moving your in-school experience to home on a Chromebook, and you were tied to that all day long, and it was not exactly people's cup of tea. I know in my house it wasn't our cup of tea for our 4 children, and so that is not how NNVA operates right now. NNVA is basically it's a pass through for online curriculum that our students can take. It's asynchronous in nature, meaning they do not have to be present on a computer from 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. They are enrolled in certain classes. They take them at their pace. They complete them at their pace. It's very flexible, and it's very much along the lines of probably what some people are looking for if they go to a homeschool, for some more flexibility. So you can still participate in the school district. You can still have your tax dollars going to your homeschool curriculum. You would not have to pay any money to utilize that. It would be part of your enrollment as a student in Elko County School District, and you would not be required to fund the curriculum on your own. That would come free of charge to you. The only time they ever need to come in person for anything is for state required testing. So if you're taking the SBAC, or if you're a junior and you're taking the ACT, there are certain tests that have to be proctored in person, or at least that's the way we administer the tests, is through in-person testing. And those kids show up at the district offices and they take their test, and then when they're done, they're out. They don't have to sit there and wait for everybody for lunchtime or for like what happens at other schools. So it's a much more flexible environment, and definitely an option for anyone who's looking for a little more flexibility and something at your own pace, but you still would like to have your child receive free and appropriate public education, which is everyone's right as a student in our country.
Do they receive a computer?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say yes immediately, and they do. Yeah.
And they're Nevada certified teachers, not necessarily
Yeah, so the curriculum, the courses that they take are state approved courses. We cannot have them, we cannot give credit for or enroll students in courses for public school that are not state approved. And so every single one of those every year goes through a recertification process, and sometimes some of those courses fall off because whatever entity we're getting them through is lagging behind on what the standards are. And so those are always, we're constantly updating those every year. So yes, those are through Nevada, they're Nevada certified classes.
And one more thing, grade level?
Right now, the grade level is it 7 through 12? I'm looking at people who might know. It's
I didn't know if it was six,
Okay.
like that.
Definitely sixth grade as well. So right now it's, okay, we feel confident. It's like a secondary platform at this point. Back during COVID, we had it open for all students, just given the situation. And so as of right now, it's a secondary option. But one of the things we're talking about is how do we open up that for all kids K through 12 again, and have it be a flexible option. And I think the word Jeff, or the phrase Jeff used a couple meetings back, was think about how we can facilitate homeschool for our families, and so that could be a potential option. So we're looking at doing that. The thing that I think is important to talk about when we look at that is that doing school online is challenging, and it's not for everyone. I know, just knowing my own 4 children, none of them learn the same way and are successful in the same way. They all have different paths, and I can think of, I don't want to blast any of my children in open meeting, but I can think of one of my children who would do exceptionally well, and I can think of one who I would enroll in a boarding school before I would put them on online school, because I just don't think it would go well. So yeah, it's very important. It is definitely not a one size fits all, just like a standard classroom isn't, just like a CTE pathway isn't. Like, we want to provide options. And so I would just caution anyone who's thinking about going to an online platform, not saying don't do it, but like, make sure you're making a thoughtful decision about why you think that's a good option, and talk to people who've done it, and kind of get an idea of whether or not that's the best fit for your child.
And that they will consider the school district online option too. I mean,
yeah.
Thank you for answering that. I don't think enough people know that we have our own online program as well. So thank you.
Yep. Anything further from Mr. Anderson?
I had 2 things. One of them was, it just popped in my brain when you were talking about the E-rate, or is Starlink not an option to do E-Link or E-rate at all? Like, is it, I mean, like, I have a Starlink Mini that I can go 80 miles an hour down the highway and get 300 gigabytes. You can do it. So I just don't understand why. Is that something that and the cost of it is like, it's down to like $200 for like the device. And so I just didn't know if that's something we're even looking at all.
You are speaking outside of my level of knowledge about, I know what E-rate does, but I don't know what qualifies and what, because E-rate is federal funding. And so there are certain things that it can only be applied to. And if you'd like, I can.
I mean, I would just say look into it, just because it could be a cost effective.
Yeah.
I mean, even for commercial, I think it's $160 a month for unlimited data. So it's not even like, and it'll only continue to get cheaper and cheaper. So
I'll work with Charles to get some information for you guys.
That would be yeah, just to see. I mean, just kind of like look into it. So okay. The other one was my second favorite topic, third favorite topic, which would be board docs. Any progress on board docs at all, or transferring that out, or
still trying to migrate to
printing to paper or whatever. Yeah. All right. That's all I got from Mr. Anderson. Thanks.
Art? Go ahead.
And I don't know how the other board members feel about it, but every time we spend money, is there a way that make it a habit or make it a point to let everyone know where the money's coming from? That way everyone knows and understand there's different places of money, different ones.
Yep. No, that's it's why I try to,
And you're doing good. I just
Yeah.
make it a point every
right.
time.
So yeah, like when we're spending money on a capital improvement project, like this is coming from pay as you go. So where that gets complicated, Adriana, and now I will say all of what I'm about to say is publicly available. It's on our website. But so if you were to look at, and I'm not gonna pull it up here, but if you were to look at our accounts payable, there's some really irritating numbers on the left side of the spreadsheet that say account. And it's like 22 digits long or something like that. That's not just like silly numbers that someone mashed before they put in what the purchase is, right? Those numbers all mean something. They mean that it came from this fund, goes to this account, goes to this function at this school. Like every single one of those numbers in groupings is actually it's like not a secret code, but it's a code for how that money and where that money is being spent from. So obviously it would be unreasonable for me to go through 7 pages of information every board meeting and say, this is where this one's coming from. But that is the purpose of those numbers, is for people to be able to accurately identify. So when you see, I don't know, if I just scroll through for a big one, right? If I scroll through and I see, oh my goodness, American Chiller Service for $26,000. Why did we spend $26,000 in American Chiller Service? Well, over on the left-hand side starts a series of numbers, and there's a handy dandy guide that shows you, it'll say, 28 equals this thing. And you can pretty quickly find out that was a district expenditure for whatever at this one school, or at this one building, right? And so it's all broken down that way. That guide is on our website. And when it comes to really big things, like a public kind of thing, like our grammar number 2 upgrade or the boiler replacement, I will always do my best to make sure people know, especially in light of budget concerns, like, no, we just said we have budget problems, so how can we throw this money at this? It's not the same money that we're talking about. Same as with Ms. Moss's concerns about the special education funds, right? Like, this thing is not going to impact what happens with her child's special education services. And so in as much as I can do that, yes, but certainly not every expenditure that happens every time. Yeah. If someone really wants to learn how to do it though, we can teach you. But it's a lot of numbers, and I know sometimes that feels like it's not helpful, but that is the state mechanism. We didn't come up with that. That is the mechanism for how to categorize all your expenditures. That is why we have them in there. So anybody from a private citizen to an auditing firm can look into that and say, okay, this is being done appropriately.
All right, hearing nothing further, we will move on to item 6.01. That's our NASB update. Mr. Neal,
Don't have one.
nothing to add there. Okay, then we will move right on to, I have a little bit, but I'll just do it with mine.
Okay.
We'll go to 6.02, items from board members. Why don't we just start on this end, Matt, and work down this way?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you to Spring Creek Middle School, Ms. McDermott, your staff, and especially your students. Someone with the service part, I'm very touched by the showing of the service through your students and your staff and our advisors, et cetera, that they've given back to our community. So thank you for that. And please ask them to continue that excellent work. In regards to the attendance review committee, just looking through attendance policies, starting with JD, there are 19 policies directly related to attendance. I think of which only 2 or 3 have been modified within the last 10 years. Some of them went back to 1984, I think. So there will most likely be recommendations to modify those, including probably eliminating and consolidating, though I'll try to make sure that we work on getting that in maybe one fell swoop so that we don't have to do it every single meeting for the next year. Speaking of every single meeting, for the review committee, we'll be meeting currently twice monthly just because of the amount of content to go through. Our next meeting is the 11th of February, and it'll be at 4 p.m. The general consensus is that it will most likely be on Wednesdays, and due to District employees and staff being on that committee will be alternating between a 2 or 3 p.m. Timeline and a 4 or 5 p.m. timeline, so that we're not taking people out of the classroom every other week, and trying to be respectful of that as well. That's all I have to report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Trustee Stefan.
To say thank you. We were here last week for stars, and it's just amazing how all the kids got excited and teacher got emotional. I'll get a little bit emotional too. And it was just great. And today too, the tour that we had, getting to the classes, and it was just great. Thank you. Thank you. Like every time, and when I know he's gonna be here, it's like, oh, that's exciting. He's gonna get to see everything is going on and everything that you're doing. Thank you for all you do. Everything. They're games, basketball games, but the cheerleaders are selling raffle tickets. So support your cheerleaders, support your athletes. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Well, another thing, Teresa mentioned Taco Tuesday. We should do it. Taco Tuesday.
We're moving right to you. That's industrial.
Perfect. All right. Like Taco Tuesday sounds like a great plan. So I'm always up for that. I will start with some acronyms, but I will spell them all out. I serve on the Commission for Innovation and Excellence in Education, COI, for the state of Nevada. And I serve on the subcommittee for Next Generation Career Pathways. And a lot of our focus is on career and technical education, how we can provide more opportunities for kids at younger ages to be, to have more opportunities to look into careers, to understand careers, expanding those options down into elementary classrooms, as well as obviously what we already have in the middle school and the high school, because the state of Nevada definitely looks at career and technical education as an incredibly important part of the system right now. And when you look at graduation rates and everything, like, you know, things that were on Heather's slides, you see that students who are engaged in classes of that nature finish school. They get certifications and they're ready to go into into careers. Some of them continue on to college. You know, it's just because a student is a CTE student doesn't mean they aren't going to continue on to higher education. They have every option that anyone else does, but they certainly graduate at a higher rate. And that is that's something we want to see. I just wanted to give a shout out to Heather. The National Center on Education and the Economy is one of the groups we work with on this commission, and they asked for experts in the field of CTE. And it was, I was happy to recommend Heather as an expert that could provide information to help the state as we move forward in the progress with this commission. So Heather's just got lots of things to add to her list. So we appreciate everything you do for Elko County, and also the opportunity you'll probably have to help, with the whole state and how we're going to restructure things, and looking at portrait of a learner, all those different things. Nevada is trying to make a lot of changes to improve education, and it takes a lot of minds to come together and try to make a big difference. So that's my report on that. And thank you, Spring Creek Middle, for hosting us. I love the library setting instead of the gym setting. So thank you. This was fantastic. I think everyone was able to hear and see. And so thank you for hosting us.
Good, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and move over to Trustee Ballard on Zoom. Do you have anything for us?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I love the service focus that the kids out in Spring Creek have had. I just think that is amazing, and would love to see that focus continue. I think that everyone benefits from that, and students grow in ways that are just wonderful through service. So I think that's awesome. Good job out there. Thank you to the student board member for coming to the meeting. I wished I was there today to shake your hand and meet you. And also to the STARS Awards teachers that got their awards today. One of them is a good friend of mine, so I'll be able to give her a big hug in person, but I just wanted to congratulate them as well. As far as Josh was asking about fiber going out to Ruby Valley versus Starlink, I asked my husband about it since he installs fiber. That's what we do. And he said that buried lines are very safe and secure, and the redundant path just means a second option for broadband. Also, they're usually built in a loop, so if it was to get dug up in one place, they can send the light that goes through fiber through a different path, and there's no interruption in service, where lots of times with Starlink, weather can be a factor and affect that. So anyways, he says it's just a safer, more secure way to bring internet and things like that to rural communities when they may need them for different things like education or even emergency type services and things like that. I have some friends out there that, because they have no cell service, the way that I contact them is actually through Facebook Messenger. So they really do rely on internet out there. But anyway, maybe that'll answer a question. But anyways, I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Neil.
Thank you to Spring Creek Middle School. Appreciate it. And I too enjoyed the service that your students are doing. It's wonderful. And thank you for joining us tonight, our students, Miss McDermott. And I also want to thank the people that have sent emails. It just shows your concern for what's going on. And I appreciate them. And I think that's it for today.
All right, Dr. Byers.
You know, the trouble with going last is that everyone's already said everything they're gonna say, right? Or second to last.
No, third.
So, oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So, you know, thank you to everybody. I mean, it's great. I was going to talk about emails. I received emails. 98% of them were very well done. And so I appreciate those. The other 2%, you know, I appreciate the idea of it. Maybe not the tone of it, but either way, it was very good to get emails and public comment. That was great. So I appreciate being in here so we can hear. So it's not vibrating. I have hearing issues, so this was great too as well. Been wonderful talking with you. She's fantastic, by the way. And nobody she was doing. I've informed her a little bit on some of the things we were doing, and she just kept right up. So, yeah, thanks so much for everyone. On a personal note, I did receive an email from the governor today. I've just been appointed to the chiropractic board, the state board. So I dote on myself a little bit, so I'll have that to work with. But and then congratulations. Thank you. So other than that, I rest. So
thank you. And let's hear from our student board member, Justine McDermott.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me today. I loved seeing all the community service. I'm a National Honor Society, so I love seeing all the junior honor societies, and they're doing amazing stuff at a very young age. I think the program's gotten it's just so good now, and I love seeing all the service, and it was so great seeing all the next generation of high schoolers coming, and I'm really excited for what they can do for our school, so I love that. And then with the STAR stuff, I just love seeing the teacher recognition, especially from a student. I think that's amazing. So that was great to see.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll keep my remarks here mostly short, but I just, I'm still settling into this role here as president, and spent a full day yesterday, last Wednesday. I got to come up and actually present one of those STARS awards here, and it was just awesome. And then, you know, spent that time with Superintendent Anderson, meeting with the Rotary Club. We spent well over an hour with those representatives from the senator's office. In addition to that, last Friday, I was able to meet with a congressman, Ro Khanna. He's from the 19th district in California, but was making his way. He's trying to visit different communities, and he made his way to Wendover. And I was able, it's rare to be able to get direct face-to-face to talk to a congressman, but I was able to express all of our support and what I've been working with through NASB for continuing those IDEA funds. They're only funding at about a 15% rate right now, and it's supposed to be closer to 40, and that would help us a lot with the disabled community here in schools, along with full funding for Title I and for the CT and workforce grants that the federal government provides. So in the last week, We've got to touch base with 3 separate people that can help us with that on the federal side. And then add in with NASB, my NASB colleagues in leadership, the president and a couple others were in DC over the weekend. They're just leaving today. But they were able to set up meetings with all of our representatives from the state of Nevada and get some FaceTime with that. And we also did a webinar before that, leading up to that. I participated as well. It was an hour every Monday on how to set up those meetings with our representatives. And I can't tell you how handy that came in when just out of the blue, a congressman's dropping in on a Friday. And it was really cool being able to feel like I was prepared for that and to get some good questions in limited time there. But we're going to try and continue that work and advocating. I just wanted to speak out a little bit about that we're not just here meeting. We all work towards lobbying our representatives and the needs that we have for our district. We can't necessarily make those decisions for the money. We're stuck with what they give us, but we can sure put some pressure on them and let them know that we're here and we have certain specific needs. And I just wanted to express that we are actively doing that. I want to talk real quick to the teachers that were up for buyouts and basically apologize, but I can't speak for the rest of the board, but for myself, I just felt like we're in no other position where if we have to lay out $342,000 right now without knowing what's going to happen later on, we're just not in a budget position to be able to do that. I don't want to end up under state supervision or any of those things. And so right now, every dollar matters. And I've always traditionally voted yes in favor of buyouts. This year, I just wasn't able to, but it was simply a math problem. That's literally all it is. But I want you all to know that I am doing what I can to, like I just said, to work on that math problem that we have. A big thank you to our student board member here for being here and having, participating. And I also want to thank everybody here in Spring Creek for being so welcoming and providing this, great setup for us here. It really was really nice. For me, that's all I have.
Yes. Is it okay for me?
Sure.
One more thing. This is for the board members as well as I can do a public comment if you want me to, like Anderson for the record. You as a board, several of you have made sure to emphasize at a certain point that this is, while we are dealing with the reality of the funding issues in Nevada. And so in that sense, it is an Elko County School District problem, that we know that it is a state of Nevada problem that we have to exist within. To that point, there was a very thoughtfully, respectfully, and well done article by the Nevada Independent this weekend.
Yes.
And I'm not bringing this up because I was interviewed for it. That's not the reason. I want to make that clear.
Sure.
I was not. That's not why I'm talking about it. What I love about the article is it is exactly what we have been talking about here, about like intentionally drawing attention to what the actual problem is and to what the solutions are. They talked about our district, they talked about Washoe County, they talked about Douglas County. They highlighted what's going on in all corners of the state as it pertains to funding problems in Nevada. They even interviewed multiple current and former superintendents who are and have been part of the Commission on School Funding and the development of the change from the Nevada plan to the people-centered funding plan, and talk about the drawbacks and the problems with it. And so it was very properly framed as a statewide problem, and put into context some of the things that districts, including ours, are dealing with. And the more time goes on, the more I hear from, and I'm not going to call out any more counties. I just named the ones that are already named in an article, but I know of troubles that are occurring in other counties that just aren't public knowledge yet, because it's starting to progressively happen to everyone everywhere. It almost feels like it's just a matter of where your ending fund balance was at when the problem started. Yeah. It's just some people are on a more accelerated timeline than others, but it's an eventuality for most of us if nothing changes. And so that's got to be the focus, is advocacy for having changes to appropriately fund and care about our children's education and to equip schools and districts with the resources they need in order to properly do that. So a good article if you haven't read it yet. And everybody ditto, read the article. It's easy to find. And in spite of me being quoted in there, it's an excellent article, and I really appreciate the thoughtful work that the folks about Independent put into it.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I had intended to, and I missed it, but it's Nevada Independent. They actually dealt with 5 districts. There's information on 5 districts, including a quote from yourself, but it's well written and it will help everyone understand what the budget picture that we're all looking at and what we're trying to navigate through is. So thank you for reminding me of that one. All right, we're down to 7.01, input from the public. Seeing none, we'll move to.
No.
Do we have one? Sure. Well, you can make a comment.
Make a comment.
Yes.
With a question
Yeah.
inflection at the end of it. Come on.
Go ahead and state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes. Up to 3 minutes.
My name is Jamie Joggers. I just wanted to know if the report that the budget committee is going to put out, is that going to be made public, available for public review, put on the website before the meeting and the workshop?
It'll be posted along with the agendas for.
With the agendas.
I say agenda parentheses. I don't know if I'm gonna put it on both, or it just depends where it makes sense to put.
So we'd be able to read it before the workshop? Or
You will be able to read it from the moment the agenda posts. It'll be there.
Okay.
Which is always
For
5 business days.
minutes.
before,
Okay, didn't
yes.
know that.
Oh,
Thank-
sorry.
3 business
Three
days.
businesses.
I get
5
you-
total days.
You,
Jen.
sorry,
Business days.
yeah, if you include the weekend, it's 5 days. But yes.
Thank
It'll
you.
come out on a Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday morning.
Yeah, I guess in this case it would be 6, won't it? Because of the holiday. Yeah, normally we post
So it'd be
agendas
on a
on
Wednesday.
Thursdays for a Tuesday meeting. But since the next Tuesday meeting will be after President's Day holiday, we will be posting on a Wednesday before,
Thank you.
and it'll be available that same day.
All right, any other comment from the public? All right, hearing none, moving on to 8.01. This meeting is adjourned.